Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, we have some interesting news today. So Bob Woodward will be releasing his book called Rage. He did one called Fear a couple years back. This one is going to be trouble for Trump too, because of course Woodward released some audio of Trump saying how serious the virus was. This was in late February or early March. How serious it was. It was 5 times worse than the flu. It is caught through the air just by breathing. This is a big deal. And Trump was speaking about it with some, some seriousness. But then there are clips of him saying it's contained. It's sort of like the flu. It's not that big a deal. Around that same time, even that same day, he went publicly and said, oh, it's not going to be an issue. So we have to see, what effect does this have right now, the fact that this has been released, and what does it have into the future? So we'll pick 3 for the present column. We'll do a present, future, and see what we get. Oh, okay, it is reversed. That's because my deck is reversed, but I will assume that there's a reason for this. All right, we do get the death card. It is a death blow. Reversals do not negate the presence of the card. The card is still there, but the fact that it's upside down means there's something not quite applicable about it right now. And I think that means that it's a real death blow to his campaign, but not now, not right now. And then we've got the Ace of Swords, that secret's coming out. So in other words, there is more truth to be coming out about this. Again, not immediately. Maybe it's just that this is yet another example of truth that lives behind the scenes, begging to come out, and it just hasn't. I mean, after a while, people have to start, even his fans have to start wondering if they can believe anything he says. I mean, I know I don't think I can believe anything he says, but there are people who still haven't gotten that revelation. And these are revelations, right? So we're reversed, but the card is there. And then we have the 2 of Wands. This is about international matters too. There's something that has an effect on international matters with this. It may be having even a greater effect in other countries than it's having here. Because here we sort of know that he lies, although this is just really remarkable. But other countries, especially European countries, I feel like are really horrified by this. And because the fact of the matter is, he has not only put Americans in jeopardy by minimizing the seriousness of this disease and cost us all so much, economically with the lockdowns, and he's cost lives. He's cost lives. People have been taken from us that shouldn't have been taken from us. People are homeschooling, the whole thing. So in other words, other world leaders are more concerned about this even than we are, because it's been harder for them to contain with the U.S. having outbreaks. And the U.S. is a main trading partner. That was the 2 of Wands. Trade is a primary trading partner. And now, this has damaged that. So these flew out, so we have to pay attention to them. We have the 6 of Coins and the Page of Swords. There will be something coming out with this Page of Swords. That means that, and it's sort of like dashed off. So it could be a tweet, it could be a comment, but there is something coming out regarding quid pro quo with the 6. It's almost like he had an agreement with somebody to downplay this. It's almost like he made a deal. So there's going to be something coming out about that. Yeah, yeah, and I do feel like it's probably somebody within his administration. Like there's a meeting about this, like, and economic people. It may even be Mnuchin, maybe Mnuchin, economic advisors. Because remember, I do remember at the beginning of this pandemic in the U.S., when it could still have been very contained, he was having economic advisors give opinions on that, and they were out in front of the cameras. We had Kudlow, we had Mnuchin, we had these economic kind of advisors talking about it before we had Fauci talking a lot about it, and how odd that was. So during that time, when he made this comment to Woodward, he was consulting with the big bucks. Well, I saw that too then, but there's something really significant about this, and it will apparently come out. There's something about it that'll come out a little bit, because it was the Page of Swords that will come out that will further enrage people. All right. There's going to be a leak of some sort, or somebody overheard something, a whistleblower, something like that. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. What about future in the next few months? How does this play out? Okay, future column. We have the Fool, a new beginning. We have the Two of Cups in bed with somebody. Two of Cups, yeah. That's always been the Republican Party supporting the president, right? Because they have to, because they're all in now. And if he gets voted out of office, they probably get voted out of office. So, and embattled. So this is what we're going to see. Do not expect the Republican senators to condemn this. Do not expect them to take a stand. No way. Not going to happen. The Fool card, a new beginning. He's going to try to create a new scandal about the Democrats. They're going to launch their next cannon. And I do feel like it has to do with Bill Barr. So they're going to try to launch their next cannon. I do think there will be frivolous investigations of Joe Biden or Hunter Biden or something like that, you know? Yeah. Also, there's another scandal they're trying to create regarding Biden's past service decisions he's made. So they're going to, and they'll probably pick something Trump has been accused of. Maybe that Biden's been too friendly with Russia or something. Yep, there's another scandal, canon number 2. They're going to release now the I don't know if it's number 2. The cannons they've already shot haven't been all that successful. It seems to me the most successful garbage in distracting people out there is still the QAnon stuff that is a complete made-up fantasy. A conspiracy that's wild and out there. That seems to be passed around the most. So, but anyway, they'll launch another cannon. It's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. But they feel like that new beginning. We have to do something. We have to distract from this. So it'll be fairly quick, fairly soon. And then we have Republicans gonna help him. We have the 9 of Wands. He is embattled. More and more descriptions of his campaign as beleaguered and embattled. All right. What about the next few months after that? And then we're into election season. All right. We've got the World. We've got the Page of Cups. We've got the 3 of Coins. All right. There is, for some reason, there is some good news for him with that World card. There is something. I wonder if he is. See, we have to read on this too. I'm going to do another reading on Cohen advises that he See, it's a completion card too. Cohen advises that he resign before his term is up and have Pence pardon him. Is that it? I'm going to do another reading on some of Cohen's bombshells in his book. But it's just a little bit of good news. It's not a lot of bit of good news. 3 of coins, like building greater security for himself. So there's something that occurs around there. But that is a completion card, that world card. Huh. We'll have to see how it's playing out. Overall effect on, yeah. See, we still have the 10 of Cups still popping out. Yeah, one big happy family, right? The Republicans still are operating as a mafia family, essentially. You know, we're all doing this all together. Everybody has to stay in lockstep. We are behind the president. That's still happening, and that's a problem. And they are also, it's not just the Republicans that are the majority in the Senate. We're looking at the Republican Party. We're looking at their interconnections with Wall Street and big business and campaign donors and such. So that oligarchs who are international, that's what we're looking at when we see that 10 of Cups. So that's a problem. But, ooh, these have popped out. So there we have Biden, who is the King of Wands. That King and Queen of Wands has always been rising Democratic leadership in my readings. And we have the Sun, joy. So this is a wonderful thing for Biden. It's a boon for Biden that this came out. There are going to be so many commercials, so many ads. If Trump's base is not hearing this, there are going to be so many split screens with his audio, or his audio is rolling over his comments around that time about how this is just the flu. There's going to be so much of that. It's going to damage him more in the coming few months, I feel like, because it just keeps on. It's the gift that keeps on giving to the Democrats. All right. Well, I wanted to look at that. And I wanted to look at fallout from Trump saying we have a new secret nuclear program that she and Putin don't even know about. Cripe's sakes. He's telling Woodward, who's writing a book, and he knows Woodward's writing a book. What in the world is going on there? And so any layperson could hear that and realize, oh my gosh, I think he probably just disclosed classified information. So what effect does that have? Is he telling other countries something they didn't already know? Yeah, we have across the seas, people watching and waiting in a worrisome way across the sea. We have there's Russia, there's Putin, we have the King of Cups and the Lover's card. He is in bed with Putin anyway. So Putin, in other words, we're hearing Putin did know about this. He did. He found a way to get that information to him. Yeah, either that or this was his way of getting that information. He doesn't care if Putin knows. Putin's his buddy. So, gosh, what else about that? Does it compromise our safety? Does it fuel a nuclear race? Well, we have the Queen of Coins. What does the big money want? What do the big donors want in this particular situation? The 10 of Coins, right? The generational money. And again, I come back to, I do believe there are sides in some ways internationally. They're a little different than they used to be. They're not alliances that are transparent anymore. I think that financially, one group that has a lot of money and a lot of power and a lot of ties with each other would like to see things go very anti-democratic. And another group would like to see things continue as they are. So I'm being reminded that the way that falls out, the way that breaks off is perhaps more important to the effect this has than, We can't look at it the way we used to look at it. Our allies and our adversaries. It may break apart differently than a person thinks. So, okay. We have the 6 of coin. We have the 8 of coins. And also, I don't know, the working people. The working people aren't going to be too interested in this, perhaps. It's sort of a little bit Game of Thrones, right? The leaders play these games, but the working people have to live in their daily existence and make enough money and increase their security. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know that it has a huge effect. Other things have greater effect on arms race and nuclear and adversaries. And the other thing that has come out recently is that we were very close to nuclear war, right? Mattis would sleep in his clothes because they were that concerned that North Korea would launch a nuclear missile. Wow. So what should we know about that? That is crazy, but it's true. 5 of Cups, regrets, looking back. People will be looking back and saying, oh my gosh, he really almost created a huge problem. He has created other huge problems, but he almost created a nuclear problem. 4 of coins, everybody hangs in, and again, with the 8 of coins. Okay. So there will be a lot of examination of that time, writing on it, talking on it. But again, people are most concerned with, the American public, those who are still employed, are working their tails off, really. Most Americans are. And it's mom and dad in the household, mom and mom, dad and dad. If there's a 2-parent household and there's children, it's probably both. Both parents are working their tails off to make it. The American voters are busy and they're exhausted a lot of times. And that is by design. Our labor laws have been cut into and knocked down and destroyed. Our labor unions have had the government working against them for years and decades. So it's gotten to the point where employers can really, and almost have to stay competitive with other employers, can really get away with working their workers in ways that are not healthy, that are incompatible with health of any type. So we do have that issue. We look at the Americans who don't vote, but, well, why aren't they voting? Why aren't they involved? Sometimes it's all they can do just to get through each day and put food on the table and pay the bills. So there's that. There's the larger issue with that. Not everybody is paying attention to these things, is what I'm hearing. I mean, these are explosive headlines, but not everybody is paying attention. All right. Well, and I understand that. Okay. What was Trump thinking when he was talking to Woodward? Because apparently he gave like 9 hours of interview with Woodward. What was he thinking? What was going on? That's what I want to know. All right. Okay, well, he was indeed hopeful. There's the star card. He wants to be the star. Yes, they thought that this was Woodward redo and he was going to charm Woodward. He was hopeful. He thought he could manipulate Woodward to write a book that was favorable to him. He really did. Oh my gosh, but he can't resist being the star. He can't resist it. He can't resist having somebody listening and fluffing his ego. And then we have the temperance angel. This all did happen gradually. So in other words, Woodward's good. He's good. He's good. He will gradually get them to spill more and more, trust more and more. He is good. Okay, and then we have the Four of Swords. A lot of this was happening when he was alone. He was retreating. He was in his bedroom. It just, and maybe times when Woodward knows that too. Times maybe when he had been very busy, was tired, was not feeling very well, under the weather with the Four of Swords. And then he's speaking more freely. And then, oh goodness, the Queen of Swords. Trump thought that this was going to be his answer to bad press, especially by females, especially by women. There must have been a woman reporter or author who had been writing at the time, or he knew was writing, and maybe this was Mary Trump. He knew she was writing. There was a female writing at the time. Could just be a lot of females. That really does bother him when they take him on in the press. And he thought, this is my answer to them. He was fooling himself. Ace of Wands, he thought it was an opportunity given. He thought, if I can get Woodward to write some positive things about me, I can invalidate everything he said before in the last book. I can cast doubt on that. I can undo that damage. And I can win this. I can win this guy over. I can be the only president who gets a favorable book written by him, about him by Woodward. This is what he was thinking. So Woodward knew how to work on his ego. Man, I would never, no, don't ever sit down for an interview with Bob Woodward. He's good. He's really, really good. If any of you out there get asked, and who knows, I have viewers who are amazingly, viewers in high places that just astound me sometimes with messages I get and emails I get, and I think, oh my Lord, that, so I'll never be asked anything by Woodward, but all of you out there, don't ever sit down with Woodward. Okay. Let's see. We have the Empress. I just am pulling cards. Is anything more we need to know about this spirit? The Empress. We have the Knight of Cups. Okay, new beginning. We have the Four of Cups. There will be some people who aren't going to read it, who aren't going to pay attention to it, who aren't going to hear it. However, this is good news. I think it's good news for the Democrats. The Knight of Cups. It's a message. It's an offering. It's helpful. And we have the Empress, new beginning. It increases the fertile ground for a new beginning in U.S. politics. Thank goodness. All right. Well, thank you all so very much. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for voting in advance. And thank you for liking and subscribing. I notice people are doing that more. And oh, how I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.